this is Karila with Metal Life Magazine. I am here on Skype with Joe Hoare from Orange Goblin. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I've had a sleep, so I'm not too exhausted now. I'm back on my feet again.
Yeah, you guys are evidently not really ones for days off because you're coming right on back to the U.S. after your what must have been an awesome tour with St. Vitus. I'm jealous I don't live closer to England because I totally would have been there.
Yeah, it was great, but yeah, we life's still short. We wanna crack on with it. So yeah, we had a 2-week break and we're back over to the States, over your side of the pond on Sunday with Down and King Parrot and Blast. So
those are some really good bands, by the way. I always like looking at tour titles, and I think this one's really funny because it's a kind of punk tour, but kind of not. And it is really cool to see because, I mean, you guys definitely have done a lot of doom-centric tours, at least recently. You know, you'll always go out with bands like St. Vitus, but this one really reaches out with some punk and King Parrot, who's a fairly new grindcore band. So what was your reaction when you were offered this lineup?
Oh, it's great. I mean, one of the things we love doing is kind of touring around with different bands that aren't the same as us. You know, it's great touring with bands like St. Vitus and people that are from the same kind of genre as us. But yeah, it's good for us as well to be playing with bands that we wouldn't normally be playing with, like a grindcore band and Blast, of course, are great old.
Yeah, I think. Are you much of a grindcore person yourself? Have you ever No.
I mean, I like all that kind of stuff, but I'm kind of trapped in an old 70s blues bubble. And yes, right. my kind of the music I listen to is 30 years old and stuff. But I love seeing anything new and different that I'm not kind of normally used to. So, and I've looked at a load of King Parrot videos. Yeah, those guys are pretty great. So it should be fun.
Definitely. I know exactly what video you're talking about. It's amazing.
Yeah.
In April of 2015, you're going to play the entire Big Black album in its entirety in Europe. Yeah. You've mentioned on your press release for the album that you'll be preparing some songs you don't often play live. So I don't want to spoil any of that for your listeners right now. But I want to know, there's kind of two parts to this question. What were some songs on your tour with St. Vitus, or you could even go back to when you headlined the States with Holy Grail and Laser Wolf. What are some songs that people just keep on requesting?
Well, I think we've played Scorpionica probably every time we've ever done a show since we wrote the Big Black. That one is, I don't think we can do a show where we don't play Scorpionica or Quincy the Big Boy or Blue Snow's another popular one that we must have played. I can't even imagine how many times. But yeah, they're kind of staple Goblin songs that are pretty much always in the set. And we still love playing them as well.
How do you keep it fresh? Because I always wonder how bands like, Motorhead would keep going around playing Ace of Spades after playing it for 25 years. I've always wondered, what is your strategy to keeping those songs that you play on nearly every tour? What's your strategy to keeping them fresh?
I don't know. I don't think there is one, really. You just kind of, you're already in a zone where this is, I don't want to say it's just your job, you've just got to do it. But, you don't think about it. It's just second nature. You go into almost like autopilot, and you play the songs and you're enjoying them because the people that are watching it always know those songs and they're singing along and getting into it. So it's just always fun. I don't really think, we've got to play that again. When you're up there on the stage, it's you don't think about it. It just becomes another fun song. Yeah, it's always just fun as long as it's kind of got that kind of party atmosphere. We're always happy to play them.
Going to your latest release, Back Into the Abyss, I found it really interesting because you have a lot of, I don't want to say classic sound, but for lack of a better term, I'm going to use that because a lot of the stuff that you use are things that were, considered really profound in the 70s and 80s kind of hard rock genre that might be considered nostalgic nowadays by kids. But I want to ask you, do you think there's any chance that young kids trying to get into heavy metal might find the same appeal to the classic licks that you found fascinating when you were young?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's certain bands that will never kind of grow old, if you like certainly in Black Sabbath and Motorhead, all those kind of classic sort of dinosaur bands.
Right.
I think they're just going to live on forever. I've got, my son is 8 and he's he's a huge Led Zeppelin fan and a huge Black Sabbath fan already, and he knows all the lyrics and he can play a lot of the riffs as well.
Oh my God.
We've never been afraid to wear our influences on our sleeves, if you like. So, we're not trying to create anything new with our music. In a way, it's kind of, people can listen to Orange Goblin albums, and some people might say, oh, they're just ripping off all the old bands. But if it gets people to listen, young kids to listen to the older bands that we were listening to, then, that's all good, really.
Especially, I'm sure you've heard a million times, but with the Devil's Whip, everyone's just like, ooh, that's a Motorhead ripoff. Ooh, why does it have to be a ripoff? Why can't it be a tribute? Why can't it be carrying on the things that made Motorhead so profound, I loved that song, but I was really tired of hearing that you guys were, ripping off Motorhead or whatever.
Well, we never, at the start, when Chris wrote that riff, we said, oh, that sounds so much like Motorhead, should we do it? And then we kind of, like you say, just embraced it. Thought, yeah, well, we love Motorhead, and, it was a good song to play, and it's good fun, and, yeah, we're not bothered, it's fine. So. Another
thing that obviously your band's been associated since day one is the doom genre, and I've always been kind of confused by it, because there are, a few stereotypes that at least I used to associate with doom, but it was things that would come with bands like Sleep, Candlemass, Solitude Eternus, things like that, My Dying Bride even. But this album is in the category of where I feel like doom nowadays is becoming more exciting and stimulating with bands like Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, Orchid, and you guys are amazing examples of this. Is part of your intention behind the album to maybe redirect perceptions of doom being very just monotonous and very, very abysmal and very gloomy? Was that all your intention, directly or indirectly?
No, not really. I don't think we had any intentions with the album to sound like a doom record or to sound like a rock record or anything. We just kind of went in like we always do and just wrote a bunch of, I know this sounds kind of corny to say it, but a bunch of riffs and songs that we liked. And I've never really thought that we were a doom band as such. I mean, we certainly have elements, but yeah, I don't think we've ever really thought about it. We've never given it too much thought of whether it's a stoner rock doom band or a heavy metal band or anything like that. We just kind of, we have no idea what we are. Confused.
Well, I mean, I can kind of see where you guys are headed, and actually your new album, just kind of a sidetrack, it kind of reminds me a lot of stuff that guys like the guys from Spiral Arms and the others, I don't know if you know those guys, but they're really into that hard rock and thinking up ways to innovate and make everything that's associated with the most classic rock. They're trying to find a way to make it fresh, and I think that's what this new Orange Goblin album does.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Like I say, it's just what we've always done. I guess you find you start getting into different things through the years, and there's I've got a lot of prog influences that I kind of like that I put in, but I think it's kind of subconscious almost. I don't we never set out to sound like this or to change a sound or to do anything new. We really just write for the love of it and just see what happens at the end. Classic rock almost in this album, I think. There's a lot more choruses you can sing along to.
But it's also a very intuitive take on classic rock, and I think that's what makes this album great.
Thank you.
You kind of based some of your songs on certain concepts, like you have H.P. Lovecraft's Elder God's Tale, which was really cool, and you kind of went crazy with some of your themes on some of your songs, like the whole Russian super soldiers. So I wanted to ask you, if you were to take one of these subjects, one of your crazy subjects, from one of your songs and make it the subject of your next album, what would it be?
Yeah, I guess it would have to be, I think it would have to be some sort of Cthulhu, Lovecraft themed album if we were going to do another concept. Because, that's kind of where Ben's heart is. Any horror, or even zombies. I guess we could make a zombie concept album. I'm absolutely obsessed with zombies or anything like that. That'd be quite fun.
That is.
Zombie concept album, because he loves those things.
I wouldn't mind a Russian super soldiers concept album. That sounds badass.
That sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah, I might have to talk about that. Pretty with it as well, though.
Right? The videos for Sabbath Hex. That is a video that you guys made, correct?
Yeah, again, it's something that Ben, again, being into all that kind of stuff, I really didn't have much say in. But yeah, I think I'm not really too sure on how that sort of all came about, but I love the end result.
Yeah, because it's one of the first videos I've seen in a really, really long time that kind of just had a big montage of video clips and no live footage of you guys. So how come you guys didn't want to like do a typical, oh yeah, here's some like shots of us shredding in a warehouse or whatever?
Because we're far too ugly, really, to do that.
Aww.
And we just didn't have time. I don't think we had time around when we were doing the video and we said, right, we've got to get a video done. Sometimes you have a certain time frame. I think we didn't rush it, but we had to kind of get something done in a certain time. And I think we were all busy doing other stuff at the time. We just didn't. You don't always have to be in the videos these days.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it makes sense, but it was very fascinating, as was your album, as is going to be this amazing tour with Down. I've never seen them or Orange Goblin, so I'm really, really looking forward to this tour. We will be seeing you here at Metal Life on December 6th in Los Angeles. Thank you so much, Joe, for taking the time, and we will see you on December 6th.
Looking forward.